Hi, my name is Cyrus Sethna, and I am a mentee in the ChiPy Spring 2017 Python mentorship. So, to kick things off, I want to ask a question. How many of you have ever had to do something, a task or something else, that involved a lot of repetition, a lot of what felt like kind of drudgery, a lot of just very boring stuff? I can't see your hands, but my answer is yeah, I totally have had to do that. And the most recent example is in my current job. My employer asked me to look over every single week two really large data sets, here they are, that contain inventory data for items in our stock, and to compare and see whether or not the inventory balance numbers match between the two data sets. One is from the warehouse and one is from the records that we keep in Salesforce. And this is it takes a long time because these aren't necessarily in the same order, and they don't necessarily have the exact same field names, etc., column headings rather. So what I did was I wrote this script that uses Python's built-in CSV library to open both data sets side by side and then iterate through them and return to me at the end the items that don't have a match, so appear in one list but maybe not in the other, and then also if there is the absolute value of the difference between the two data sets is greater than 500, because then that indicates a further problem that needs to be reviewed. So it's very simple. It looks like this, and it returns here what had been previously taking me about 5 hours a week to do, going back and forth between this CSV and this CSV, and control Fing the whole time. So this is way faster and way more efficient, and shaved off a bunch of time, which I then turned around and was able to use to make a different product. So let me show you what that looks like. I am a federal employee, and as a result, I think a lot about how much money are we spending to do different things, because it's taxpayer money, it's public money, we all pay taxes. So I wanted to make this tool that calculates the amount of time federal employees are spending in meetings. And this is a very simple command line version of it, but let me show you how it works. So it asks for some names. I'll give you some names here. Internet's a bit slow, but what it does is for each time you enter a name, it makes a request using the requests library to this data set here located at federalpay.org, and as you enter people's names, their salaries will be returned in JSON, and then the program takes the salary value from the JSON and adds it to this list here. So let's go with one more name, and then I'll show you a problem, right? So this data set isn't complete because the most recent employee salary data available is from 2015. I was hired after that, so I won't be in here, for example. And what will happen instead is the program will ask me to input some more information. And with that information, it will make another request, find my salary. There you go, you see it there, and that's it. So then you press enter, you're entering a blank person, and the program starts to calculate actual value, right? Using just very simple math here to figure out how many work seconds are in the year, therefore how much is your time worth per second of the work week, and there it is, it calculates it for you in real time. So the next logical step after that is to make something that has maybe a more usable front end. This I don't think is accessible to most people. So what I then did was I used Falcon. My mentor Chris actually taught me about Falcon. I didn't know that it existed, but Falcon is a very lightweight API tool. You don't need to use something like Flask or Django, I believe is the other one, to do something that is very simple, like this, which is essentially taking JSON data, making a request, and returning that back. So here in the command line script, those requests happen one by one by one by one as you make them in real time. But the idea of the microservice, which is now deployed on Heroku, is that a user could pass in a bunch of JSON data and then make one request and get all of that information back at the same time. I think it makes things a little bit more efficient. And so I want to show you, this is the app using Falcon, the WSGI app that GUnicorn can then host. Right, GUnicorn is a small web server, and then there's some sample JSON data. So here is a name, like we saw in the previous example. Here is just a grade and a step, like we also saw in the previous example. And then here is a name with a grade and a step, so all of the possible criteria. And we're going to use HTTPy to make a GET request to the microservice, which is running here at this Heroku app location, and we're going to put this sample JSON data into the microservice and see what happens. And there we have our list of salaries. It's come back. I apologize for the slowness of the internet. If you have a faster connection, it will work faster. I just have a very slow connection right now. But that's what happens. So it returns the salary data for these sample folks, and that's it. So my future goals are to make a reactive front end. So I'm thinking of using JavaScript to make a reactive front end that does the calculation and has some pretty looking buttons that you can click and things like that just are kind of nice UI features. But that's it. That's what I hope to do, and I'm really excited about this, and thanks for the opportunity to share with you all. Goodbye.